So much media, so little time. Who keeps track of it all? That would be me. This is Bob Andelman, and this is the Mr. Media Interview, broadcast and recorded live on blogtalkradio.com from the new media and baseball capital of the world, St. Petersburg, Florida. I have never said this before on this program, but this is a very special episode of Mr. Media as far as I'm concerned. As a member of the U.S. women's national soccer team, Brandi Chastain participated in the 1996 Atlanta Olympic Games and helped the Americans win the gold medal by playing every minute of every U.S. game. She's best known for her game-winning penalty kick against China in the 1999 FIFA, you figure it out, Women's World Cup final, perhaps the greatest goal in U.S. women's soccer history. And Kerri Strug was a member of the Magnificent Seven, the gymnastics team that also represented the U.S. at the 1996 Atlanta Olympic Games. Despite a serious ankle injury, she overcame adversity and performed a stunning vault to help clinch a gold medal for the women's team competition, one of the most memorable moments in Olympic history. Between these two women, they have won 5 Olympic medals, 3 gold, 1 silver, and 1 bronze, and 2 World Cup championships. Brandi Chastain, Kerri Strug, welcome to Mr. Media.
Hello.
Hi. How are you guys?
Outstanding. It's beautifully sunny here in New York.
It's sunny here in Florida, too. It's like I could look out and see you across the way. I have to tell you, I coach girls soccer at the middle school level and have coached for 7 years. I love working with the young girls, and it's just, I have no athletic ability, I have no athletic training, but I get such a kick out of working with these girls and seeing them develop over the years as athletes and see their interests, that when I said that this is a special program for me, I really meant that. I'm delighted to have you guys on. I saw you in '96. I've seen you guys since, and I'm just delighted that you made time to do this today. So thank you.
Well, I think I would like to thank you for on behalf of all soccer players, because it's nice to have people who are interested in spending their time coaching young girls. So, if it weren't for my dad deciding to learn about soccer as we were learning together, then I probably wouldn't be having this conversation. So thank you.
Oh my God! So you mean my daughter could be the next Brandi Chastain because I had to learn soccer for her? Oh, this is great.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, I know. Let's start here because I know you two are working together to promote the 2008 IMG New York City Marathon this coming Sunday, November 2nd. And you're both great athletes at what you do, but have either of you completed a marathon before?
I'll let you go, Kerri.
I have not very well, but finishing is always the main goal, and so I've done Houston twice and Boston twice. So this is my first time to run IMG's New York City Marathon, and I'm really excited about it. This is the first time that I'm running for, a cause other than myself, and I think Brandi and I are both really excited about IMG's Run for Something Better program. We're both involved with our nation's youth on some level in our respective communities, and so this is really a no-brainer to campaign for ING and the cause to get young people active and running. We have a big problem here in America with childhood obesity, and we both like to set goals for ourselves as well as help our nation's youth. And so the ING New York City Marathon was helping us accomplish both of those tasks in one.
Very good. How did you do in those other marathons, Kerri?
I am very average. Remember, I have very short legs. I'm only about 4'10" on a good day. So I'm always a little bit over 4 hours, and this marathon I would love to be, right around 4 hours as well. So I think it's important to set realistic expectations for myself, but also try and challenge myself at the same time.
And Brandi, have you run a marathon before?
I have not, so I am just going to be running behind Kerri and catching a draft off her as she makes her way through the course. And, no, I haven't run, and I never actually thought that I would be running a marathon because it just seems so long. And it's not like you're chasing a ball or an opponent. You're just chasing that clock and that course. So I just never really saw myself doing it until this opportunity with ING and Run for Something Better came along, and I thought, what a great way to continue the work that I do in my community. As Kerri said, I work with a nonprofit I founded called the Bay Area Women's Sports Initiative, and it's encouraging young girls in underserved or challenged communities to become active. And I thought, this is a great extension of what I'm already doing, so why not help ING raise funds where people can go online to www.orangelaces.com/NYC to make donations of $10 or more. They get the laces that Kerri and I will be running for wearing during the race, which 2,500 other runners we heard will be on our team on Sunday. We in a really easy way, we can make a huge difference for these kids. So I figured if I'm telling these kids, and I've been showing them through example on the soccer field, how to take charge of their lives, then I have to be the living example of how you can face what is a fear and you can overcome it. So that was a wonderful opportunity for me to stare this beast of a marathon down and give it a go.
I couldn't agree with you more on the part about it's just a long running with no ball to chase. Nothing surprised me more. I've never been a runner. I mean, I love sports. I've never been a runner. Last year, my daughter's first year in middle school, she decided to go and do cross country, and I could never have been prouder to see her actually running the distances. I mean, finishing usually middle of the pack, but I admire you guys for going out and doing that. What I'm curious about, though, is do you worry, is there any part of your ego that's at risk here when you go out there and you do something like this and you're being passed by people who you look at and you go, I can't believe I've got Olympic medals, I've got gold, and look who's passing me. I mean, or they're looking back going, oh, my God, I just passed Kerri Strug and Brandi Chastain. How cool am I?
Well, Kerri reminded you at the beginning that, we're not professional runners, and this is actually just an opportunity for us to help a worthy cause and run for something better. But I think that's also a part of the managing of a marathon that I've come to learn, which is you can't allow your emotions and your ego or your adrenaline to get the better of you. And I think there's never a better time to use this saying, slow and steady wins the race than, it will be on Sunday, because ultimately it's not like a soccer game where you're going to sprint and rest, or it's not like gymnastics where you'll do your event for 30 seconds or 2 seconds or, whatever it is and be done. So it's a wonderful opportunity, and I think Kerri would agree. We love to challenge ourselves, and I think, Kerri said she'd love to be a golfer. I golf myself. It's like I think we find things out there that challenge us in ways that our other sports didn't, and that's how I view this marathon.
Folks, if you've got a question for U.S. Olympic champions Brandi Chastain or Kerri Strug, or both of them, give us a call, 646-595-3135. Have you guys been able to arrange your schedule so you've been able to do any training together, or how have you individually trained for the marathon?
Well, I run with my iPod, and that's about it. So, yeah, it's been interesting. I think both Brandi and I travel quite a bit for our corporate speaking engagements or our involvement still with our federations and things like that. So it's pretty erratic, but at the same point, you do know that you need to do a few long runs prior to the race, and we've both made sure that we did that. And I think come Sunday, we're going to be feeding off a lot of the cheers from the crowd and the scenery and just the adrenaline of knowing that we're running for a greater cause, and we're running, in New York City in this great marathon that we've kind of been looking forward to for a long time. So I think, the work's already been done. It's a month or so before the race when you've put in your time, and we've been kind of, tapering off the last few weeks. But neither of us really went crazy about it because we are very busy people.
Well, what I also heard in my total novice approach to doing this marathon, I've tried to get as many resources as possible, whether it be people or books or, magazines about how to do it. The one thing that kept coming to the forefront, besides, slow and steady, was, enjoy this process and enjoy the race, because it's like nothing else that you've ever done before. And I'm really looking forward to feeling the excitement and the energy and seeing the 5 boroughs of New York City in a way that you just can't any other way.
I was going to point that out, that Kerri, you ran, I think you said in Boston and Dallas, but I have a feeling that running through the streets of New York with all the, the streets closed, and that's going to be something that you guys will remember. No matter how the race ends, that will be a spectacular experience, I'm sure. I mentioned when we started that I coach girls soccer, and one of the things that interests me, and perhaps one of the things I do better since I can't demonstrate the skills very well, is motivation. And I kind of wondered, we talked a little bit about it for this race, but in general, when you were young, when both of you were younger, I wondered what kept you going as teens and willing to give up, things that other teen girls, young girls were doing at the time, to follow, these athletic dreams. Maybe Kerri, you want to take that first?
Well, I think for me it was internal. I love the sport of gymnastics. I started at the age of 3. I loved learning new skills, and I think at a very young age you learn how to set goals for yourself, and that's kind of what motivates you. I was very fortunate to have parents that were supportive but not pushy, and they gave me every opportunity to excel, and I think I put a lot of pressure on myself to succeed, but the motivation was really I had a dream and I wanted to accomplish it, and I didn't want to look back and say, if I had only done this or if I had only done that. I've heard from many parents across the country, I was really good at swimming, but I didn't do this, or my parents didn't push me, or I didn't, and I wanted to know that I had given it 110% and sacrificed all that I needed to in order to excel. And if it didn't work out, that, with that in mind, then you're like, okay, I gave it everything I could. But to always look back and say, only if I had tried a little harder, or only if I had put in a few more hours, or only if I had moved away to go train with this coach, I didn't want to live with those regrets. So for me, I don't know, I loved going to these competitions and, knowing that I could do a little bit better. And, of course, little accomplishments along the way give you that much more motivation for the future.
And Brandi, what about you?
Well, I think, Kerri and I come from different backgrounds in terms of the sports we play, hers being an individual sport, mine being a team sport. And for me, it was really about just being able to hang out with my friends, because there was no women's national team, there were no Olympic Games, there were no World Cups. So it wasn't as if I was playing soccer with some goal out in front of me saying, okay, one day I hope that I get to this platform. Really, it was about oranges at halftime, for me, scoring a few goals. That was, that was my drive. Maybe that was my gold medal, which was, to get the ball and make a difference and contribute by scoring goals, and then at the end of the game having a sleepover. Or having a pizza party, and it was really a family environment for me growing up. My parents and I walked down to sign up for the first time I ever got on a team, and then my dad became my coach until I was 16. So we learned the game together. We had the highs and the lows together. They traveled to every game that I ever had, and it wasn't until I got to my senior year in high school where someone actually said to me, you need to decide what sport it is you're going to play, and so ultimately I decided soccer. But I was really lucky that, I had the opportunity to play a lot of different sports, participate, and it just so happened that, I loved soccer from the first kick, but I had the opportunity to play a lot of things. So it was a different time then, and I wish on some level, for young girls and boys that are having to make those tough decisions at young ages, that they do have a chance to participate in different sports, just because of what they all have to offer.
I'm thinking of some of the kids I've coached over the years who, they have a lot of activities going on, and every so often you can see that they're having to make a decision between, well, I have this big game on Saturday, but there's a party or there's a trip with the family. And I'm wondering, along the same line, did either of you do you remember a particular decision that you made in favor of your sport where you gave up something where, maybe you regretted it, or it was a tough decision at the time, but, you got past it?
I think for me... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Kerri. No, please, go ahead.
For me, I had to move away a month before my 13th birthday in order to go train with Bella Caroli in Houston, Texas, and that was really the ultimate sacrifice, and it was something that I had to think long and hard about. I'm the baby of the family. I'm very, very close to my parents, and it was, a very difficult decision, but it was one that I knew I had to make if I really wanted to excel.
And I think for me, I always saw soccer as a privilege, and it was what I loved doing. So there was never a time that I felt that it was getting in the way of anything else, because I didn't think anything was as cool or as fun. So, I think I really had it opposite of maybe what other kids were thinking. Maybe they were thinking, gosh, I wish I could play soccer instead of having to go to do this other thing. But I really, I think I just really loved it. I grew up in such a positive environment for playing. My parents were like Kerri's parents, they were supportive to the nth degree, but not pushy. That's not to say that I didn't get sent home from practice quite a few times and had to walk home for, being a brat at practice. But, I just really love soccer, and I was just so happy that I got to do it all the time. It ended up becoming my career, and when your career is your passion, and you get to make a living doing it. I became a professional. I went to Japan. I helped start the WSA. The new WPS is coming back next year. I look forward to donning a jersey in that league, and I just think it's been such a privilege for me that there has never been a day where I thought I wanted to do something else.
Wow. There is a live web chat that accompanies the live Mr. Media interviews, and Newt's Girl 1, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is listening, can't call in from work, so she had a couple questions for you. First of all, she'd like to know, what is the difference between competing against foreign countries and American women?
Well, one, you can't understand what they're saying, so you never know if they're being nice to you or not.
So you skip the trash talk.
Yeah, so trash talk is out the window.
All right.
I just think it's something very special, and Kerri, I'm sure, could make a comment about this on wearing the red, white, and blue. Representing your country is such an unbelievable opportunity and such a privilege and an honor and incredibly humbling that it's just so unique. So to play international matches is really special, and to do it with people and against people that you truly respect is the ultimate. And playing at home, like playing for your collegiate team, it's kind of the same thing. You play on your collegiate team or you play on your club team, and it's like you're representing somebody. You don't always just go out there representing yourself. There's obviously other people that are involved helping you get to where you are. So I never felt that there was a time that I was alone on the field.
Kerri, you want to take a shot at that?
For me, I think gymnastics is an individual sport, and you're always kind of vying for those slots within your own team. It's only at the Olympic Games and a few of the World Championships where you're competing as a team with the U.S. women. I have utmost respect for, the other countries and the work that they've done, but of course you always hope to hear the national anthem and represent, like Brandi said, you feel honored wearing the red, white, and blue, and you hope that everybody there wants to, come to America and is jealous of, that the Americans are there, and that they love coming to competitions here in the States. So I'm a very proud American. I think my patriotism really did stem from my athletic involvement, and it's just grown from there.
Do you find when you've participated in international meets or the Olympics or other kinds of events like that, is your competitive level raised? Are you more aggressive in those meets perhaps than, playing against the girl from cross town?
For me, it was all the same. Every competition I would get nervous, and every competition I want to do well and, show everyone how hard I've worked and what I'm capable of. And our coaches, at least in the sport of gymnastics, teach us that you've got to treat every competition the same. Yes, it's the Olympics, but you still have the same routines that you've been practicing and competing for years, and so you have to really kind of focus in on the elements and the technique versus, oh my goodness, this is the World Championships or this is the Olympics, because those types of thoughts are not going to benefit your actual performance, at least for me.
The other question young lady in the web chat had was, do you guys, and this is a good question, do you guys still hang out with your old teammates? I mean, it's been 12 years, granted, from '96, and I know you've both competed to some degree since then, but do you have any contact with the people that were on those teams? Brandi, I think this question is more to Kerri, because I think, Brandi, I know the answer is yes. So, Kerri, maybe.
I'm closer to some than others. I'm still very close with my teammate, Dominic Maciano. We talk on a regular basis, and I visit her here and there in Cleveland. I think, gymnastics is such a young sport. We've all grown up a lot, and the common bond was the sport of gymnastics and our training and our goals. Whereas now we live all across the United States. Everybody's doing something different. We do come together here and there at our national championships. We had a 10-year reunion. We just got inducted into the U.S. Olympic Hall of Fame. So things like that, we do come together, and we start off right where we left off. But, we're all growing in our own ways, so we're not as close as we were previously.
And, Brandi, you answered a question that everyone I spoke to had leading up to today. They wondered if you were going to put on a uniform for the WPF when it starts play, and I guess you've answered that.
I'm thrilled about, just having an opportunity to go out to training, and I was always one of those players who loved going to practice. I just love being out there with my teammates, the smell of the grass, sometimes the dew on the ground, the sliding and the getting up and the fun and the high fives that you get to give with your teammates. And so I don't think there's anything that I've found in my life that can replace that. And so the fact that it's going to be here again is just thrilling to me, no matter that I'll probably be 20 years older than some of the players. I just have an incredible enthusiasm and love and passion for this game, and what I hope to give is a good example of how to work hard, how to be a professional, how to be a good teammate, how to be a good ambassador for my local team as well as the league. And I just think it's a wonderful opportunity for young girls to come to a stadium and be able to cheer on people who look like themselves.
Well, if I promised you all the oranges you could eat at halftime, would you put a good word in for Tampa Bay to get one of those franchises? We would love to have the women's team down here.
That would be great. We could play in St. Pete.
That would be wonderful,
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And I'll take your oranges, although I already have an orange tree in my backyard, but I'll take a couple of your oranges, too.
We'll be happy to bring you all the oranges you can eat. DJ Nitro in the web chat asks both of you, what has been the hardest struggle to overcome within the training for the New York City Marathon?
Oh, I think what Kerri said earlier, which is, you have to get in the miles, and sometimes, life precedes marathon. And, I have a 2-year-old son, and I run a nonprofit, and I have, 50 other things going on each day. And so to make that commitment and dedicate the time necessary to make those long runs, when you know that you have to, can be challenging sometimes. So I think that for me has been the toughest thing. But I know, like Kerri has also said today, the process of getting to this point is part of what's so fun about running a marathon anyway. So it's been a good process, and it's been challenging at times, but I think it's going to lead to a wonderful experience come Sunday.
We have just a couple minutes left, so I want to get in a couple of quick questions. What advice would you offer girls who might follow in your footsteps, whatever the sport, in terms of sticking with it? You have the days when things don't go well. you get a little down. How would you encourage the girls to follow you and, stick to it?
Well, I think, you got to love what you're doing, and if you like what you're doing, even those bad times or when you kind of have a setback, you're still inspired to go for more. It's important to have small and big goals and to have a support system. I think, for me, I had a love-hate relationship with Bella. Each and every day he made me go that much further than I thought I could take myself, and I loved that part of him, although, on a daily basis I didn't really like it. But I think, pushing yourself past the point that you think you can, you get that self-satisfaction, and you have that drive to attain more. And I think everybody likes being at the top of their game. So you got to find something that, you love and that you're good at, and then the sky's the limit.
Brandi, what's the best advice you ever received, either for sports or just for living your life?
I have to go back to a very important lesson my grandfather gave me when I think I was probably around 10 or 11. And it was advice, and it was also, I'm not telling parents out there or kids out there that you should pay your kids money for playing sports or whatever, but he used to give me $1 for scoring a goal, but he would give me $1.50 for every assist I had. And he constantly reminded me how important it was to be a good teammate and always there in support. And if you had an opportunity to make somebody look better or to help them or to set up a goal for them, that it was worth more in the long run than scoring yourself. And, I've expanded that $1 and $1.50 into other aspects of my life countless times, and I think it's incredibly valuable. It really is, I think, what and how we have to live every day.
Well, folks, you can support the ING Run for Something Better program by going to www.orangelaces.com/NYC, and while there, you can contribute $10 to the cause, and they will send you a pair of orange laces like the ones my guests, Kerri Strug and Brandi Chastain, will wear in this Sunday's 2008 ING New York City Marathon. Kerri and Brandi, it was a pleasure to talk to you. It was a lot of fun. I hope people enjoyed it. I know I did, and feel free to come back anytime.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you
for having us.
Thank you both. Good luck Sunday.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Think good thoughts for us.
Absolutely will. I'm going to be thinking, I'm glad it's you two, not me.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And folks, for more celebrity and media newsmaker interviews, you can surf over to our main website, www.mrmedia.com. That's where you can listen to my earlier conversations with Billy Bob Thornton, Cheryl Hines, Jeff Garland, Robert Schimmel, Bruce Davison, and Kirk Douglas, among many, many others. Please think about writing an online review of Mr. Media, casting a vote for Mr. Media, or marking Mr. Media as one of your favorites, whether you listen to the show on Blog Talk Radio, Digital Journal, Podcast Pickle, Vox, Folio, Mediafly, Podfeed.net, Blueberry, Zencast Audio, the Kindle Reader, or iTunes. And if you've got an idea for a guest, email me directly at bob@andelman, ANDELMAN.com. Folks, I really appreciate when you take a little time out of your day to spend it with us. I hope you'll do it again real soon. Thanks for listening.